Holly Holm, still basking in her shock win against arguably the UFC's biggest star, Ronda Rousey, will face the former Strikeforce Women's Bantamweight champion, Miesha Tate. The preacher's daughter, just 3 fights into her UFC career, dismantled Rousey, whilst the cupcake is still a comparatively old hand in the octagon. With 22 fights to her name, she has the experience, but does she have the credentials to upset the new champion? The breakdown is coming up. Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate. Let's tee this up with the fight metrics. So the new champion, slightly more senior in years, a little bit taller as we know, a bit rangier, but Miesha Tate, the former Strikeforce Bantamweight champion, been around the game for a very long time and a solid competitor.
Yeah, and not a person to be discouraged either as well. That's something that you always see with her fighting style.
Champion's mindset.
Yeah, and she's going to need that in this fight as well, because she's going to have to negate that 5-inch reach advantage. She's also going to have to negate the fact that Holly's very good at maintaining distance, which we saw in the Ronda fight. So if she's going to want her game to work, she's got to close that distance quickly.
And it's not easy to get Holly Holm onto the canvas either. And even when you do, she doesn't really want to stay there.
Yeah, and she's such a strong fighter as well. You can see that in the way she moves.
Absolutely. Well, talking of the way she moves then, let's have a look at her striking. A multi-time boxing champion. She has a very extensive kickboxing record as well, and we all know what happened against Ronda Rousey.
Yes, yeah. She's the best striking women's MMA in my opinion right now in this division. I would say Joanna gives her a tough test. Obviously with a strict Muay Thai. Strict Muay Thai. I don't want to mess with Joanna. She disagrees with me. But you can see that how she's put a kickboxing style together with a traditional boxing background. She's got good hands and she's confident in that. She's got confidence in her coach as well, which makes a big difference. And the implementation of this side kick really upsets a lot of people's game, because not only has she got a really long reach, but when you're on the end of one of those kicks, she feels even further away from you. And she will work that body. She will punish the body to open up the head, or she will work the head to open up the body. You know what I mean? She's a diverse striker and she reads her opponent well. Yeah. And that's from years of being in the ring, in the boxing ring. She catches people moving. I mean, Ronda was lucky her hand was in the way there, or that could have been the end of the fight. But look how she gets her head out of the way, off the centre. Keeps Ronda at distance, so Ronda starts to get frustrated. Then when she comes crashing in, bang, there's a punch waiting for her there. And you can see how it affects Ronda every time, because it's a stiff, solid punch. She knows how to turn her hips into it. Like when we're looking at that punch, let's just go back to that for 1 second. Let's just pick Ronda back up off the canvas for a minute.
Oh dear.
So look at this punch as it lands. You pointed this out yesterday, John, when we were talking about this. As she lands this straight left, I mean, the technique's perfect. She's leaping in, but look how close she is to her opponent. That's all of her body weight going into that punch.
Yeah.
Now, even if her opponent moves back, she's still got, you know, a good probably, I don't know, 30 inches of reach on that punch if she wants to extend it even further.
And it's just such a beautiful.
You're dead right. The foot is planted on the back of the floor, so you've got that straight line that goes all the way from the base, all the way through the body to the punch. I mean, it's traditional boxing at its finest, really, and you're not going to get a better person to demonstrate it. And Ronda paid for it, because she was walking onto these power shots, and you can see how it upset her balance immediately. I mean, that was her recovery. She got caught with the shot, but she was getting back to her feet, and then comes the head kick, and she was turning to face it. So not only can one of these shots hurt you and change your game plan, but it can also disorientate you and open up another shot. And that's where Holly's dangerous, because she has so many tools in her game.
And she's looked a great champion outside of the octagon, which I know isn't what we're about today, but she's really carried herself well.
Yes.
And it means a lot to her. She's been a boxing champion, a kickboxing champion. Yeah, very interesting indeed. But Miesha Tate has been around the game a very long time. And we saw with the stats earlier on the fight metrics that she is a high output striker. But there's a lot of forward momentum with what she has. She's not anywhere near as crisp as Holly Holm. It's a very different style. Yes, yeah, and there's a difference in where you can tell the muscle fibers are different between the two fighters. Holly Holm's been in the gym throwing punches since she was 15 or 16. Yeah, you know, hundreds and hundreds a week. Where obviously Miesha Tate, coming from a wrestling background, striking is a relatively new element to her game in comparison to Holly Holm. It's a learned discipline.
It is, exactly. So the muscle tissue may not be as developed as it is for Holly Holm to fire that with speed and power. And I mean, we've got to be honest, you can see it when she moves, when she throws her punches. She lands with weight. You can see that in the Jessica I fight. But there's much more of an uncertainty to the way she moves. There's much more of a reluctance when she throws, whereas Holly Holm obviously is far more relaxed. But what Miesha Tate does do is cause a fight. She gets into a fight. She will go and find it. Look at that. Beautiful overhand right. Caught Jessica Aya right on the chin. Look at this slow-mo. Bang. And the same thing again, she's throwing the body weight into it.
She wasn't winning the fight in the striking exchanges at that point.
Exactly. I mean, Jessica Aya is a real, again, a tough fighter, but quite a raw striker. So how Miesha Tate will deal with a polished striker is a different thing entirely. But where she really wants to fight is on the floor, and she will push the striking battle. She will force somebody to shoot and take her down. And then she's got a lot of different tools on the floor. I mean, she's a good wrestler, but she's got Ricky Lundell in the corner. She's got Rob Follis in the corner, the original Team Quest coach. So she's got all these nice little trips and sweeps and stuff. She's very good with her butterfly hooks. So even if she does push forward and end up on the floor for one reason or another, I would still consider that her world, and it's still a danger for Holly Holm to engage her there.
I know we're going to take a look at her grappling a little later on, but that's where a lot of people might see that she's going to have some advantages. So it's very important for Holly Holm to avoid getting into those kind of exchanges.
Yes, it is. And she's very good at it. I mean, you know, you've got to think of the camp that's around her. She's been working with Jackson Winklejohn for a while now, and there are so many good fighters with all different disciplines in their background. So she could pull John Jones to one side and ask him a question, or, you know, pull Ricky Lundell, pull Mike Winklejohn to one side, who's a striking coach that she's been working with pretty much her whole life.
Yes.
And she's confident in these people because they're either proven or they've been long-time training partners.
Great minds and bodies and the success momentum in that gym.
Exactly. So no matter what problem she comes up against in the octagon, the solution is in her gym. She just needs to seek out the right person. And she seems to be doing very well. She's got good reaction times on takedown defense. You can see this against Raquel Pennington. She was mid-strike then when she managed to get her hips away. And here, as she sags her weight, she builds frames. She's good at pummeling inside, you can see. And again, like, building frames is key. She's doing it here. So let me point out a couple of things.
A double frame there.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing a real good job of this. She's got that. There's one frame here, so that's going down there and then across the waist of Raquel Pennington. So effectively, she's built a wall just there. Oh, hang on, where's my button? She's built a wall just there across the hips, and then you can see the elbow just here, the tip of the elbow and the tip of her glove. So now she's also built another wall there. So now, not only is Raquel Pennington trying to get her underhooks in, but now she can't get close to her body, so she's exposed, she's reaching.
Right.
And this is a danger because when Holly Holm is able to break that clinch, she will punish you for it. She will wait until there's an opportunity, then she'll create that space and she will attack. She does it really well here as well. She's got a single necktie, but she's still using that. She's still using that frame across the waist. Let's go back. This is a good opportunity to show you this. Look at that frame that she's using across the waist. Like, Marion Real can't get close to her. She's building a wall here. She's got the tie clinch here, so she's controlling that, so it allows her to knee, but she's keeping the frame across the waist so she can't close that distance and get underhooks and work a takedown. And
a lot of people find the moment where fighters are breaking is like a reprieve, but she's not letting that happen. No. She's ready to attack.
I think it is a bad training habit, personally. You'll see guys in the gym, they'll work strike into a clinch, and then when in the clinch, they'll go, okay, let's reset.
Okay.
And that almost becomes the mentality of fighters. When they get into the clinch, when it breaks, they're like, okay, reset, and then we'll engage again. Holly doesn't give you that time. As soon as it breaks, she's going to thunder a body kick in, she's going to thunder a side kick in, and even if you jump guard, she's going to punish you for it. She's going to slam you to the floor, stack you, land a couple of shots. She works to pass here, but then when she realises it's more effort than it's worth, she stands straight back up to her feet, and you're back in her world again.
Yeah.
So she's got good awareness, she's got good range control, she's got good takedown defence, and she's a really good athlete. It's going to be difficult to put her on her back, I've got to be honest.
Well, Miesha Tate is going to try at some point to do that. She started off in combat sports with wrestling.
Yep.
And she'll force you up against the fence, but she's very good at hitting doubles and singles as well.
She is. She's got good timing. And another thing that's interesting about this fight is it's southpaw against orthodox. And for a wrestler, if you stand southpaw for me, that lead leg is perfect for a single. Now, if you stand orthodox, I've either got to shoot a double leg, which means I'm reaching further, or I'm shooting a single leg and my head's on the outside exposed to a guillotine. Whereas in a southpaw stance, I can step straight in and pick up that front leg and dump you.
And you're safe for the submissions.
Exactly. And I know she's got Ricky Lundell in the corner. I know he loves a single leg takedown. I know he's got a lot of different things you can bolt onto a single leg takedown that get the fight to the floor. And if we talk about Miesha Tate, we talk about tenacity. We talk about her will to win and compete. She doesn't slow down. You said earlier she's a tournament fighter. She's a tournament fighter.
Yes.
That's the mentality. She will fight one person, move through them, onto the next person, onto the next person.
In the same night sometimes.
In the same night. And doesn't get discouraged. Even if she's worn out, she's injured, she's tired, she's still going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And that is evident in her wrestling game. I mean, you can see this here. She pushes forward on Sarah McMahon, an Olympic wrestler, and watch this scramble, watch this hustle. Drives her over, and you can see her corner, they go mad. You can see Jimmy Gifford there.
How that happened, but that won her the fight, essentially.
And exactly, and this again, this is a beautiful technique that she uses here. Let me just talk about this, because a lot of people use wall walking to get off the fence, like to kind of create some space, create some movement, and you can see Sarah McMahon doing it here. Now, obviously, Miesha Tate has got a good position here. She's got a high side control where she can start working to pin this elbow here. You can see this knee's coming up to pin Sarah McMahon's arm. She's also isolated this one. So now we're looking at crucifix position here. This is Matt Hughes, BJ Penn territory, and you don't want to be there. So Sarah McMahon does the right thing. She starts to wall walk. She starts to bump over, get her feet on the fence, and walk over. Then Miesha Tate does the right thing. Instead of being bucked over and allowing Sarah McMahon to get on top, she just pushes her shoulders away. So she effectively just negates that advantage that Sarah McMahon's trying to give to her. And what she does at the same time is she then transfers into another strong position, tries to pin that elbow straight away, and then she's into a dominant position again where now Sarah McMahon can't wall walk to get up. And she's pinned the arm, she's wearing her down, and this is third round. And she lost the first round in this fight. You know, This is her coming back, foot on the ankle, foot on the wrist, finding ways to win. Beautiful double leg takedown against Jessica Eye. But she's just a good hustler. She's good at wrestling. Look at this against Rin Nakai. Good head pressure. She's doing all the right things. She's putting pressure on her in the right things, driving Ronda down. That was her sitting up from guard to take Ronda down. I'm just trying to demonstrate the tenacity of her. You know, when somebody's fighting and trying to get back to their feet, she's always got something else to chain onto the end of it. You know, so having a guy like Ricky Lundell in your corner, he can add different things to a game. So, I mean, you can't teach this kind of tenacity, but if you can add techniques to it, it can become very, very dangerous. Then you start finding yourself against guys like the Team Alpha Male guys who are very good wrestlers and can constantly move, and you just can't keep them off you. It's exhausting just to keep up with them in the fight. And she can create that kind of energy in the fight, whereas Holly Holm is definitely going to want to kind of gauge the distance a bit more, try and manage the pace of the fight. Miesha Tate is going to try and bull rush her up against the fence and make this messy. I'm excited. It's going to be a great fight. I don't need to say any more. I'm stepping out. I'm done.
Two pieces of gold. There will be more as we go further into the calendar. Mark Hunt and Frank Mir in Brisbane, Ben Rothwell and Junior Dos Santos in Zagreb and in Tampa, Florida. A long-awaited comeback from unbeaten Khabib Nurmagomedov as he faces Tony Ferguson on one hell of a tear. All before another Octagon return, this time for Johnny Bones Jones as he clashes with Daniel Cormier in Las Vegas for UFC 197 and the light heavyweight title. It's a packed card in Nevada as Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson will also defend his title against Henry Cejudo. That's it from us. Enjoy what's sure to be an historic event. Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And remember, please send your questions our way for our next big show, UFC 197, by tweeting at UFC Europe using the hashtag Inside the Octagon. We look forward to seeing you then.